Today I'm going to test and compare three flagship laser engravers, the Sculpfun S30 Pro Max and the Atomstack X20 Pro and the Atomstack A20 Pro. These are all 20-watt laser engravers which are excellent laser cutters. I am going to put them to the test to see how they perform at laser engraving and laser cutting plywood, hardwood, stainless steel and acrylic, and I will also try to cut steel with them. I am also going to measure their laser spot size and compare all the results to other machines I have tested previously. If you decide to buy this machine, you can use my affiliate link in the video description below, where I also put my discount coupons. I get a small commission which helps me make more videos like this to help you choose the best machine for your needs and perform free giveaways for you. Speaking of giveaways, I have to announce a winning comment from my previous video. Thanks for all the ideas you have left in the comments. There were 167 comments, so I am giving away only one X-Tool infrared laser module. Unfortunately, we didn't reach the 200 comments threshold where I would give away not one, but two modules. Next time, we need more comments. I choose the winner with the random comment picker. Congrats to the winner! Thank you for all who participated and see you in the next giveaway. Now let's get back to the laser engravers. The Sculpfun S30 Pro Max is a brand new laser engraving machine in the S30 series from Sculpfun. The S30 series offers the machines in three configurations: the 20-watt Sculpfun S30 Pro Max, the 10-watt Sculpfun S30 Pro and the 5-watt Sculpfun S30. The 5-watt and 10-watt should be similar to the Sculpfun S9 and S10. In this video, I will focus on the most powerful 20-watt version. The main features of the S30 series are the following. Automatic air assist pump, which can be controlled through the Lightburn software. This way, you can enable the pump only for laser cutting. The tube now comes properly packaged and it is not deformed. The pump is very strong. The machine also has quality limit switches for automatic homing procedure. Just like the Sculpfun S10, this machine also has an improved industrial X-axis rail. The S30 has a replaceable protective lens which extends the service life significantly. Spare lens comes inside a repair kit which contains all the necessary tools to replace the lens. This unique feature will keep your machine operating at top performance for many years, which is awesome since the lens will deteriorate with use. This machine can be expanded in both axes to a whopping 935 x 905 mm. The Atomstack A20 Pro and X20 Pro are the same machine, the only difference is in its color. The X20 Pro has a brushed aluminum look and the A20 Pro is colored blue. This is a system that the Atomstack uses to separate machines that are sold by different vendors. Both are equipped with the same 20-watt quad-diode Atomstack M100 laser module. The air assist tube is integrated into the module. It has a bit cheaper limit switches, but they work fine. The air assist pump is very nice. It has a manual speed control which sadly cannot be controlled with software like on the Sculpfun. The pump is also very strong. The laser is focused by a metal shim. If you remove the protection shield, the shim needs to be turned on a side. It has a magnet, and it is neatly stored on the frame. The main feature of the Atomstack is a touchscreen offline controller which enables you to engrave offline from SD card without the need of computer. It contains the basic controls for setup and homing. When you start engraving, you can also tweak the settings a bit in real time. More information about the offline controller can be found in my previous review of the Atomstack A10 Pro. Now let's get to proper tests of this machines. First, I measured the true optical output power, which is exactly as specified. Sculpfun did show a little bit less power, but later we will see if this affects its cutting performance. I engraved my standard test pattern. This test pattern has three sections. First one is the powerscale test. This test shows how well does the machine engrave at different speed and power settings. The second part is the interval test. Here we can see how a different line spacing will affect the filling of the shapes at different power levels. The last part is the photo engraving test, where I engrave a small photo at different power levels. A machine with a smaller focus spot will be able to produce more detailed photo. Both machines did well in the powerscale test, with the Sculpfun showing a bit more contrast. The interval test is showing that the Atomstack might have a larger focus spot. We will measure it later. With the photo engravings, the Sculpfun shows more contrast and greater details, which could be a result of a tighter focus spot. The Sculpfun was also better at engraving text at the set speed, which means that despite lower output power, it engraves with greater power density, which is a result of a smaller focus spot. If you want to know the explanation of these patterns, visit my website hobbylasercutters.com, where you will find the detailed results of all these tests, and you can directly compare them with all other machines I have tested. Next, I engraved the test pattern on black anodized aluminum. This test shows the engraving precision, laser spot size and shape. The main feature of this test is the interval test in vertical and horizontal direction to further evaluate the laser spot shape, as the engraving on anodized aluminum comes out very crisp and detailed, and therefore it is easy to clearly identify the laser spot size. From far away, the engraving patterns look similar. Let's see the details with a microscope. The Sculpfun appears to have a much tighter focus spot, as the text engravings look much better even at a very small 1 mm text height. This machine showed some micro vibrations, which are probably due to my machine being a pre-production model which has an adapter plate for mounting the laser module. I think that later the improved version of the mounting system will be made. The interval test helps us to measure the laser spot size. The Atomstack focus spot size is approximately 0.2 times 0.15 mm, while the Sculpfun has a focus spot sized 0.15 times 0.1 mm, which equates to 2 times smaller surface area and twice as high power density at a focus spot. The next test on the list is the focus distance test. I start by placing 3 3mm acrylic sheets on the laser bed and place the wood board on top. Then, I focus the laser optimally and engrave the text and the first square with 0 mm written in it. 0 mm is the optimal focus. Then, I keep removing the 3 mm sheets one by one, without readjusting the focus, to see how the laser beam shape looks further away from the optimal focus. The Sculpfun S30 Pro Max is a clear winner here. It retains a focused laser beam at a much greater distance compared to the Atomstack. The Sculpfun is hands down the best one in its class. It is even better than majority of the 10 and 5-watt machines. You can check out more detailed photos of these results on my website. The Sculpfun should therefore be a much better laser cutter than the Atomstack. We will test this next. But first I removed the protection shield on the Atomstack 2, so it was easier to position the laser more precisely. The focusing part should now be used on its side for optimal focus. First, I tried to cut 3 mm thick poplar plywood at 3 different speeds, 300, 600 and 900 mm per second, both in horizontal and vertical cutting direction. Here, both machines performed similarly. Next was the 6 mm thick plywood. This is where the Atomstack started to stay behind, as the larger focus spot at a greater distance started to show its effect. Sculpfun was also a bit faster at cutting 10 mm thick plywood. Having a closer look at the results, you can see that the Sculpfun has greater energy density of the beam, because it leaves a cleaner and less charred edge. This is a very welcoming thing, because cleaner cuts mean that you will be able to make nicer looking parts. With 3 mm thick plywood, there is no big difference between the machines. You can find more information and more detailed photos of the result on my website hobbylasercutters.com. I also tested the performance at cutting pine, beech and oak hardwood. Hardwoods are more dense and require more energy for cutting. The Sculpfun had a cleaner cut overall and required less passes to cut through all boards. I also tried to cut 18mm, 0.7-inch thick spruce softwood board with the speed of 600mm per minute to test the performance at cutting thicker stuff. The Sculpfun finished a little earlier with a slightly less charred cut surface. The performance at cutting 3mm thick black acrylic at 600mm per minute was identical. Both machines needed 3 passes to cut through. Then I tried to cut this 10mm thick piece of black acrylic, which has proved to be difficult to cut with most of the machines. It took 12 passes for the Atomstack and 11 passes for the Sculpfun, which is the best result so far. You can find more information and more detailed photos of the result on my website hobbylasercutters.com. Both machines produced clean cuts with minimum melting on the bottom side thanks to their strong air assists. I also tried 2 different scenarios for engraving stainless steel. First is directly on the stainless steel and the second is on the stainless steel that I previously blackened with a black spray paint. I used a very slow speed of 200mm per minute and full power. These machines have a lot of power. The steel became very hot, and it also did bend a little due to the heat. Both machines did a very good job in both situations. Lastly, I tested the claim which states that these laser engravers can cut thin stainless steel sheets about 0.05mm thick. I will cut this feeler gauge, which contains thin strips of steel of precise thickness. I started with 0.05mm thick strip where both machines have cut easily through. They also had no problems at cutting 0.1mm strip. But with 0.15mm thick strip, none of the machines were able to cut it. I repeated the test also with the X20 Pro, and the result was similar. You can find a purchase links for these machines in the video description. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more.